Good morning. I'm Brooke Hopkins, and this is the NPC Morning News. Oh, sorry, wrong script. Good morning. I'm still Brooke Hopkins, and I'd like to introduce you to our set of worship songs this morning. They're based on various psalms, most notably Psalm 100 and Psalm 30. Now, if you add those numbers together, you get 130, which is a wonderful psalm of hope and perseverance, but it's not one of our psalms this morning. It is very close to Psalm 134, which is also not one of our reference psalms this morning. But Psalm 134 is connected, very mysteriously, to this morning's contorted, cryptic, curious crossing into the realm known as Hymnody in history. William Keith is a man with two names. Like previous hymn writers like Thomas Ken, Charles Wesley, and also like actor Brian Keith, except Keith is spelled differently than Keith. We think William Keith was from Scotland, but the details of his birth are unknown, so we're not sure. He was a Protestant who did flee to Geneva, Switzerland during Bloody Queen Mary's persecution of the Protestant reformers in the 1550s. It's interesting to note how God works through the persecution of his people to bring about great victories. John Calvin, one of the pillars of Reformed theology, and as we see, another man with two first names, had fled Paris in the 1530s and had settled in Geneva as well. William Keith is thought to have assisted Calvin and John Knox and others in the translation and publication of the Genevan Bible, which was the preferred version of the Pilgrims who came to America in 1620. And you might remember that the authorized King James Version had been published 9 years earlier in 1611. So back to our story. Along with the Genevan Bible, John Calvin oversaw the publishing of several hymn books based on the Psalms, including one called the Anglo-Genevan Psalter in 1561. William Keith contributed 25 different versifications of Psalms into this venture, including one based on Psalm 100, which is the only one to make its way into modern hymn books. But wait, there's more. If you call tonight before midnight, you'll also receive this set of Ginsu steak knives. Oh, sorry, wrong script. But wait, there's more. Another man fled Paris around the same time, ending up, you guessed it, in Geneva, Switzerland. Louis Bourgeois was a musician who wrote songs in Paris to entertain the rich and famous, but he's better known for his melodies composed for the Genevan Psalter. Now, the name Bourgeois sounds a lot like bourgeois, which means middle class, and that's because that's what his name means, is middle class. Even though the aristocratic name Louis may have been associated with 1 or 2 or 18 different French kings as well. But if you thought that worship wars were a modern phenomenon, you don't know anything about what was going on back then. Louis Bourgeois was actually thrown into prison overnight because of his musical arrangements. Now, whether or not you think certain songs or styles are criminal, it probably shouldn't result in the imprisonment of the poor composer, even if his name means middle class and not top notch. Louis happened to be John Calvin's music director, and Pastor Calvin intervened and had him released. Louis wrote 34 original tunes and 36 revisions of older tunes, all which made their way into the Genevan Psalter. And one of those, which you know very well, was the tune for Psalm 134, which we mentioned earlier, but it has endured for 500 years as the melody for Psalm 100. You know it as Old 100th, the melody for the doxology. And married to the text of William Keith, we sing it as all people that on earth do dwell. So comes to a close another chapter which we know and love as Hymnody in Switzerland. Oh wait, sorry, wrong script. Hymnody in history.